Okay, what program did you study?
CEGEP or just university?
University.
University, I did a bachelor degree at Université de Montréal.
Okay. Can you explain what courses were about?
Well, the bachelor degree is a general degree. So first year you have classes in civil law, constitutional law, criminal law. You have some about like the philosophy of law, history of law, business law too. And then second year you still have a couple of classes that you have to take that are in any kind of field, but then you can choose some. So personally, I took a lot of labor laws courses because I really enjoyed them, but you have municipal law, environmental law is one of them too. Children, stuff like that. You can go in that field too for the DPG and stuff like that.
What work opportunities can you access to this program?
Well, we often say that law can get you anywhere. Many people do their bachelor degree and don't pass the bar afterwards because they decide to do something else. But the more like traditional thing to do is you can do your bar and become a lawyer, or you can do your, not sure what it is in English, le notariat, to become a notaire. But even after, like, I did the bar, and many people think I'm just going to do my internship and then I'm going to see people go in politics and stuff like that. But for lawyers, I personally would like to work in labor law, but I mean, pretty much everything in our life touches law.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, right? Yeah. Everything.
Yeah, so you can do pretty much anything. Many people work in businesses, private firms, and you give advice to people, you go to court.
Okay. In CEGEP, what courses did you take to get into your program in university?
When I started in CEGEP, I thought I wanted to do international law. So I did... C'était Sciences Humaines, Profil Monde.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's where you were?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It's just I realized that international law is harder than you think because countries don't necessarily respect it. And it's a lot of negotiation. And so I enjoyed it, but I mean, I'm not going to do that in my life. But to enter in law, you can do anything. It's just your qatar that matters. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. What is the work placement, the stage that you will be doing?
I'll be working as an intern at Vide, which is a law firm downtown.
But what is it like? What
we do? Well, it's pretty similar wherever you do it. For us, you have three, because our firm, they do business law, litigation, administrative law, and labor law. So you do 3 rotation that you can choose. So I'm going to start in labor law, then probably do litigation and hopefully stay in labor law, but I don't know. And what they make you do is lawyers have, you don't really talk to client when you're an intern, but lawyers have questions about the law, and then they call you and they tell you, okay, can you do a research about the jurisprudence on that question?
Like a secretary?
Well, not really, because they do have paralegals and a legal assistant. It's more you do the research, you go with them to court, so because you want to learn what they do, but they can't really give you something and be like, okay, go to the court, and maybe it won't work, oops, for the client, you know? So they have to make sure that they teach you, but at the same time that the client gets what he's paying for. So it's mainly research, but I mean, you can assist lawyers, just follow them, see what they're doing.
Okay.
Ça varie beaucoup. And sometimes if they go to the Court of Appeal, then you have to review the Superior Court trial. So then you have to read everything that all the witnesses said and try to like make a plan of what you're going to bring to the court.
All right. What type of homeworks were you doing usually?
In law school? It's mainly readings. It's a lot of readings. We did have also some projects to do. To be honest, I would mainly, after every class, before the next class, I would make sure to print my notes and reread them, because at the end you have too many otherwise. You read jurisprudence. La doctrine, I wasn't a fan of it. I would read it only if I didn't understand what the teacher said, because otherwise it's just, you would spend like 9 hours each class reading. And then we had some projects, mainly research projects.
How much time per week?
It really depended on the class. Some class you could do 1 or 2 hours outside of the class and you were good. Some it was 6-7 hours.
Yeah.
So it really depended. You kind of had to know.
So it's not that demanding. It depends on the course.
It depends on the course, but most people will know in advance. Like, okay, I know that this class, this teacher doesn't give too much reading, so I'm gonna take him with the one who gives a lot.
Okay.
So usually, I mean, it would come down to I have 5 classes of 3 hours each, so let's say 15 hours, and then I would easily do another 25, maybe 30 hours of just readings, research, or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
So it's demanding. You can work at the same time and do other things.
All right. Are there any environmental law that you know of?
I'm not specialized in environmental law, but I do know that there are environmental law. We have a lot of committees at the university, and we actually had one about environmental law. At Vide, we also have a department that takes care of it. So I know that federal and provincial, we have laws about the environment. I'm guessing that it touched like pollution in the air, but also in the water. I know that, for example, at Vide, when companies want to buy a new company or a new terrain or something like that, they have to make sure that they respect all the environmental law, and that's why they have that department.
All right. And last question, e-waste are different types of electronics objects that aren't useful anymore. Do you think there should be a law on those type of objects to force people to not throw them in the garbage?
I'm guessing that yes. Before we talked, I've never heard of it, but I did go on Google and I found out that actually there are some provinces who haven't. I think Alberta was one of them. And I know that Quebec, apparently they're starting to think of making laws for it. And yes, because from what I read, the laws, let's say the federal law for environment, it's 1999. They weren't thinking of e-waste when they made it, but now probably that
it's gonna get there.
Yeah, definitely, because that's the new reality. And I mean, if it's pollution, whatever makes it, it has to go away. Yeah. So yeah, I think we should. And most of the time, people, you just have to be tell them don't throw this out, because when we were young, recycling was like, okay, what is that? I don't care. Yeah. Exactly, and now people who don't recycle were like, what are you doing? Why not? So I think that eventually it will come to it. Probably there'll be a law about it, but also people will just change their mind.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.